I'm going to talk about who I was in my previous lifetime. Now I've always interested in the purpose of my life and the purpose of my soul and who I may have been in my previous lifetime. And I have discovered that after doing some thinking that in my previous lifetime I was Laura Ingalls. In April 1994 I came to Minneapolis because I needed to find a place to live and I couldn't stand Florida anymore. I am glad that I didn't come here with anyone because most people would have gotten pissed off at me and told me my priorities were mixed up, because instead of spending time looking for a place to live when I moved here, I decided to go to Walnut Grove. The compulsion to go to Walnut Grove was so strong, it had to be for one reason. It was because I was Laura Ingalls in my previous lifetime. I do have to say I at least made it back to Minneapolis with barely enough time to find a place to live, which is why it does pay to go with your gut feeling and your intuition, and usually no harm comes from it. I made sure that I took tapes with me when I went to Walnut Grove too, and I love listening to music with explicit lyrics. I decided to listen to a song from G.G. Allen called Ass Lickin', Cunt Lickin' Masturbation while driving by Laura Ingalls' schoolhouse. I'm willing to bet $1 million that I'm the only person in the world who has ever listened to a song like that while driving by Laura Ingalls' schoolhouse. And some people told me that Laura Ingalls is turning in her grave. No, she is not. I was Laura Ingalls. And the reason I played such a vulgar song like that is to prove that I have changed a bit since I was Laura Ingalls. And I know a lot of you have never heard of G.G. Allen, but he is one of the most vile and vulgar rock stars of all time. He had to have been fucked up on drugs when he did his shows. And when he did a concert, he would take off all his clothes and then he would beat off on stage. Then he would urinate on stage. But if that's not all, he even took a shit on stage. And then he threw it at people in the audience. Now, and I think I also like G.G. Allen because to know that my taste in music has changed since I was Laura Ingalls. And also, I listened to my Beavis and Butthead tape while I was driving by Laura Ingalls' farm, the farm that she grew up on. Now, there are many reasons that I believe that I was Laura Ingalls in my previous lifetime. Number one, I used to enjoy watching Little House on the Prairie. Now, Little House on the Prairie is a family-oriented TV show. And I think most family-oriented TV shows suck. Especially the Waltons. I couldn't stand that show, which destroys the theory that I was John Boyd in my previous lifetime. But I was Laura Ingalls. Now, number two, Laura Ingalls lived in Florida for a while, and Laura Ingalls thought that Florida sucked, and so did I, because I lived there and she thought it sucked, and Laura Ingalls hated high humidity, just like I do. Number three, I was interested in coming to Minnesota because I was here when I was Laura Ingalls. Number four, in a lot of ways, I am sensitive yet feisty, and even Laura Ingalls, I guess it was something that doesn't happen enough in family-oriented TV shows, which is another reason why they sucked and why I like Little House on the Prairie. But I do remember an episode of Little House on the Prairie when Laura worked for a newspaper that Mrs. Olson owned, and Laura put an ad in the paper claiming that their mercantile was having 100% off sale, and people walked into their store just walking off with the merchandise for free. And I was rather amused for that. And I really liked that one. And last but certainly not least, I was Laura Ingalls because we are both writers. Now, people tell me that I write about diarrhea, necrophilia, and cannibalism, which means that my writing style is a bit different from Laura Ingalls. And there's no way that I could be Laura Ingalls. Yes, I was. Laura Ingalls was a sick fuck. Laura Ingalls hated Nellie Olson with a passion. In her original novels, Laura Ingalls wrote about how she wanted to bring Pa's gun to school and shoot Nellie Olson and then have sex with her dead body. Laura Ingalls was way ahead of her time. Laura Ingalls also talked about how she constantly got yeast infections, which is why I have problems with my balls at Julian's lifetime. Now, I also had a very embarrassing experience while I was having sex with my husband, while I had diarrhea, when I was Laura Ingalls. Laura Ingalls felt deep down in her soul that it was important to share her experiences despite how embarrassing they were with the world, because people needed to learn the truth from her experience. Laura Ingalls needed to learn the truth from her experience. Laura Ingalls' publishing company, however, did not like Laura Ingalls' writing style and told her that writing about yeast infections, diarrhea, and wanting to kill someone and using profanity was not politically correct. Laura Ingalls felt deep down in her soul that she should have told that publishing company to go fuck themselves and write whatever she damn well pleases, but she allowed herself to be duped by those assholes, so she altered her writing style. Instead of telling it like it is, Laura Ingalls was duped into telling it like it ain't. When Laura Ingalls croaked in 1957, she had a meeting with the gods to decide if she would be able to move on to a better world than this one. The gods said, "Mrs. Laura Ingalls Wilder, we see you wrote novels that told it like it ain't, and I am afraid that you will have to be reincarnated to live back on Earth where people are fucking assholes, and you will face lots of suffering." Laura's response was, "God damn it, I was duped into writing stuff that told it like it ain't." The gods said, "Sorry, Mrs. Laura Ingalls Wilder. Being duped by a society run by a bunch of fucking assholes is no excuse. You are supposed to create controversy and rock the boat in your life, and you failed to do so. We sentence to let your souls float freely through the universe until December 1962 to give you a chance to do some soul searching over the mistakes you have made. After that, your soul will be sent into the sperm of some guy fucking his wife, and you will get reincarnated as a person with a penis instead of a vulva to make life more difficult for you. You will live in a very repressive society where people will treat you like shit for being different, and you will be tormented and made fun of while you are going to school. People on planet Earth have a very low consciousness. In fact, their consciousness is up their ass, which you fail to do anything about, I might add, when it comes to subjects such as bowel movements, sexuality, yeast infections. In fact, most people on planet Earth, well, I already said that, but they have their consciousness up their ass. But I'm sorry, Mrs. Laura Ingalls, you had a chance to do something about that, but you fucked it up. Mrs. Laura Ingalls Wilder, you have a chance to redeem yourself in your next life. With the enormous amount of suffering and repulsive bullshit you will be facing, you will learn that it is essential to write extremely vulgar and nasty stories, and you must expose your writing style to the world. By the end of the 20th century, there will be a network of computers, at least there'll be something cool in your life, called the WWW, for the World Wide Web, and the good thing is there's at least going to be a bunch of smut on it, so that's good. Put your story on the internet, get it right, and tell it like it is in your next life. Then you will be able to move on to a better world after you croak. And if the consciousness of the Earth is not raised up with your writing style, we will have space aliens invade Earth and blow it up. And in September, Ingalls was reincarnated as me. While I was growing up, I felt that I didn't fit in with most aspects of our society because it really sucks and blows. I got picked on and treated like shit for being different while going to school. But I'm afraid that that was my punishment for failing to write about the truth while I was Laura Ingalls.